Good evening, and welcome to this urgent special report. The world is reeling tonight from scenes that could only be described as apocalyptic in Israel, where an Iranian missile has pierced through defenses to strike an IDF shelter, unleashing a devastating explosion that has shaken the very foundations of the region. This is not just another skirmish in the long-simmering tensions between Tehran and Jerusalem. This is a moment that has thrust the Middle East into what many fear could be the brink of all-out war. We're bringing you the latest developments, eyewitness accounts, expert analysis, and the broader implications of this terrifying escalation. Stay with us as we unpack the chaos unfolding hour by hour. Let's start with the heart of the story, the strike itself. Just hours ago, under the cover of a darkening sky, Iran launched a barrage of ballistic missiles toward Israel, with reports from the Israel Defense Forces confirming over 180 projectiles in the initial wave alone. Most were intercepted by Israel's advanced Iron Dome system, a technological marvel that has long been the nation's shield against such threats. But in a chilling failure that has sent shockwaves through military circles, at least one missile evaded the defenses and slammed directly into an IDF shelter near the Kirya, Israel's military headquarters in central Tel Aviv. Eyewitnesses describe a scene straight out of a nightmare. A blinding flash followed by a thunderous boom that rattled buildings for miles around. The explosion tore through the reinforced structure, sending plumes of smoke billowing into the air and debris scattering like shrapnel across the surrounding area. Flames erupted from the site, lighting up the night sky in an eerie orange glow as emergency responders raced to the scene amid blaring sirens and panicked crowds. This wasn't a random hit. The shelter was designed to protect key military personnel during air raids, a fortified bunker meant to withstand the worst. Yet, according to preliminary reports from Israeli officials, the missile, a suspected hypersonic variant from Iran's arsenal, breached the defenses with devastating precision. The impact has left a crater the size of a small building, and while exact casualty figures are still emerging, sources close to the IDF indicate multiple fatalities among soldiers and possible injuries to high-ranking officers. One resident near the site, speaking anonymously to our correspondents, recounted the horror. "It felt like the earth was splitting open. We heard the whistle of the missile overhead, and then boom, everything shook. I grabbed my family and we huddled in our basement, praying it wasn't the end." This strike has not only exposed vulnerabilities in Israel's vaunted air defense, but has also ignited fears that Iran's capabilities have evolved far beyond what was previously anticipated. To understand how we arrived at this precipice, we need to rewind the clock on the escalating conflict. Tensions between Iran and Israel have been building for years, rooted in ideological clashes, proxy wars, and Iran's nuclear ambitions. But the spark that ignited this latest firestorm came just days ago when Israeli jets conducted a series of precision strikes on Iranian soil. Targeting nuclear facilities in Isfahan and Natanz, as well as missile production sites, Israel framed the operation as a preemptive measure to neutralize what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called an existential threat. In a televised address, Netanyahu declared, "We will not wait for the noose to tighten around our necks. Iran has vowed our destruction, and we have acted to ensure our survival." The strikes reportedly assassinated several top Iranian commanders, crippling parts of Tehran's military infrastructure and sending a clear message. Israel will strike first and strike hard. Iran, predictably, did not take this lying down. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei responded with fiery rhetoric, labeling the Israeli actions as barbaric aggression and promising a response that would make the Zionist regime regret its existence. Crowds in Tehran took to the streets chanting "Death to Israel" as state media broadcast images of the damaged sites. And tonight, that promise was fulfilled in the form of this massive missile assault. Iranian state television claimed the strikes were in direct retaliation, targeting military installations to defend our sovereignty. But the hit on the IDF shelter near Tel Aviv's Marganet Tower complex suggests a level of sophistication and intent that goes beyond mere reprisal. It's a statement of capability, proving that Iran can reach into the heart of Israel despite layers of protection. The human cost of this exchange is already mounting, and it's heartbreaking. In the immediate aftermath of the Tel Aviv strike, Magen David Adom, Israel's National Emergency Service, reported at least 3 fatalities in nearby Bat Yam, including 2 elderly women and a young child caught in the fallout from shrapnel and collapsing structures. Over 100 people have been treated for injuries ranging from blast wounds to severe burns, with hospitals in the Tel Aviv area operating at full capacity. Further south in Beersheba, another Iranian missile struck an apartment building used as a makeshift shelter for IDF personnel and civilians, breaching 2 reinforced bomb shelters and claiming at least 5 lives. Eyewitness videos circulating on social media show rescuers pulling survivors from the rubble, their faces etched with dust and despair. One survivor, a mother of 3, shared her story. "We thought the shelter was safe. We heard the sirens and ran inside, but then the walls caved in. I lost my neighbor. She was just holding her baby." In the northern town of Tamra, a partial building collapse from a missile impact has left 5 more dead and dozens injured, with emergency crews working through the night to search for trapped individuals. These are not just numbers. They are families shattered, lives upended in an instant. Across Israel, millions were ordered into bunkers as the Home Front Command issued widespread alerts. Children clutched their parents in dimly lit safe rooms. The wail of sirens, a constant backdrop to their fear. The psychological toll is immense. This attack has pierced the sense of security that Israelis have clung to amid ongoing regional threats. And it's not isolated. Reports indicate additional strikes in Haifa, where an Iranian ballistic missile evaded air defenses to hit the Ministry of Interior headquarters, causing fires that raged for hours. Casualties there are confirmed, including among security personnel, further straining Israel's response capabilities. On the Iranian side, the narrative is one of defiance and victory. Tehran's media outlets are hailing the operation as a success, with footage showing missile launches from western Iran streaking across the sky. IRGC commanders have claimed direct hits on key Israeli targets, including intelligence hubs and weapons complexes. One official stated, "Our missiles have shown that no dome is ironclad. Israel's arrogance has been humbled." But this bravado masks the risks. Israel's retaliatory strikes have already targeted Iranian ballistic missile launchers, and whispers from military analysts suggest a broader campaign could follow. The United States, Israel's staunch ally, has pledged ironclad support, with American interceptors assisting in downing many of the incoming projectiles. President Joe Biden, in a statement from the White House, condemned the Iranian attack as reckless and unprovoked, while urging restraint to avoid a wider conflagration. U.S. forces in the region are on high alert, with evacuations of non-essential personnel underway. The international community is scrambling to respond. At the United Nations, emergency sessions are being convened, with envoys from both sides trading accusations. Russia's foreign ministry has accused Israel of provoking the crisis, while European leaders like France's Emmanuel Macron and Germany's Olaf Scholz have called for an immediate ceasefire. Oil markets have reacted sharply, with prices spiking over 5% amid fears of disrupted supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. Stock exchanges from New York to Tokyo are tumbling, reflecting the global economic ripple effects. Protests have erupted in cities worldwide. In London, demonstrators waved Palestinian flags in solidarity with Iran's stance, while in New York, pro-Israel rallies demand stronger action against Tehran. This isn't just a bilateral spat. It's fracturing alliances and testing the resolve of superpowers. Experts are warning that this could be the tipping point. Dr. Emily Landau, a senior research fellow at the Institute for National Security Studies in Tel Aviv, told us this strike on the IDF shelter changes everything. It demonstrates Iran's ability to penetrate deep into Israeli territory, potentially shifting the balance of power. If Israel responds with ground incursions or further airstrikes, we could see involvement from Hezbollah in Lebanon or even Syria, turning this into a multi-front war. On the other side, Iranian analyst Dr. Mohammad Marandi from the University of Tehran argues, Israel's initial aggression left Iran no choice. This is self-defense, and the world must recognize that the Zionist regime is the aggressor. The specter of nuclear escalation looms large. Israel's undeclared arsenal and Iran's advancing program add a layer of existential dread to the mix. As rescuers continue to sift through the wreckage in Tel Aviv and beyond, one can't help but ponder the human element amid the geopolitics. Families in Israel are mourning lost loved ones, while in Iran, citizens brace for potential retaliation. Children on both sides grow up in the shadow of conflict, their futures uncertain. This apocalypse in Israel isn't just about missiles and explosions. It's about the failure of diplomacy, the cycle of vengeance, and the urgent need for peace. We've seen proxy wars in Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon, but direct confrontation between these two powers risks engulfing the entire Middle East. Looking ahead, the coming hours and days will be critical. Will Israel launch a full-scale invasion? Will Iran mobilize its proxies for a coordinated assault? The US and its allies are pushing for de-escalation, but with hardliners on both sides, optimism is in short supply. Our teams are on the ground, monitoring developments in real time. We've seen reports of additional missile intercepts and ongoing airstrikes, with the IDF confirming that 80 to 90% of the barrage was neutralized, yet the breaches have claimed at least 24 lives across Israel. In Beersheba, the apartment strike has left a community in ruins, with stories emerging of heroism amid the horror. Neighbors digging out survivors with bare hands as fires rage. The global reaction continues to pour in. China's foreign ministry has called for restraint from all parties, emphasizing the need to protect civilian lives. In the Arab world, reactions are mixed. Jordan and the UAE, which assisted in intercepting missiles, faced domestic backlash for aligning with Israel, while Qatar and others mediate behind the scenes. The humanitarian crisis is worsening. Aid organizations report overwhelmed hospitals and shortages of medical supplies in affected areas. One doctor in Tel Aviv described the scene. "We're treating blast injuries, shrapnel wounds. It's like a war zone here, and the fear is palpable. Patients are asking if more missiles are coming." This event also highlights the evolution of warfare in the region. Iran's use of hypersonic missiles, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 5, poses a new challenge to traditional defenses. The Iron Dome, while effective against slower rockets, struggles with these advanced threats. Military experts note that this could force Israel to invest billions more in upgrades, potentially straining its economy. Meanwhile, Iran's missile program, bolstered by technology from Russia and North Korea, underscores the dangers of proliferation. The strike on the IDF shelter may have been intended to disrupt command and control, potentially delaying Israel's response. As we delve deeper, let's consider the historical context. The Iran-Israel rivalry dates back to the 1979 Islamic Revolution, when Iran shifted from ally to adversary. Proxy conflicts through groups like Hezbollah and Hamas have claimed thousands of lives, but direct strikes like this are rare and escalatory. The 2024 missile exchange was a precursor, but this 2025 confrontation feels more intense, with higher stakes. Analysts point to Israel's internal politics, Netanyahu's coalition facing domestic protests, as a factor in the aggressive posture, while Iran's economic woes under sanctions may push it toward bold actions to rally national support. The environmental impact can't be ignored either. Fires from the strikes have released toxic smoke, affecting air quality in densely populated areas. In Haifa, the hit on infrastructure near oil refineries raises concerns about spills and long-term pollution. Wildlife and agriculture in the blast zones are devastated, adding to the human suffering. Turning to personal stories, we've heard from a Tel Aviv father who lost his home in the shrapnel rain. "We built our life here, and in seconds it's gone. But we're resilient. Israel has faced worse." In contrast, an Iranian student in Tehran expressed pride mixed with fear. "We must defend ourselves, but I worry about what comes next." These voices remind us that behind the headlines are real people enduring unimaginable hardship. As the night wears on, updates continue to flood in. The IDF has lifted some shelter orders, but alerts persist in northern regions amid threats from Hezbollah. Iranian media reports successful hits on Rafael weapons facilities, though Israel denies significant damage. The death toll now stands at over 30, with hundreds injured. Global leaders are convening virtual summits, but breakthroughs seem elusive. In conclusion, this apocalyptic strike has shaken Israel to its core, but it also shakes the world. It's a call to action for diplomacy, for leaders to step back from the abyss. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families tonight. We'll continue to bring you updates as this story evolves. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, in times of darkness, humanity must prevail. Good night.